All right, today we are talking about my Alexa 35 camera. I am rapidly approaching 11 months of ownership, and you guys had some questions for me. So, like any normal person would do, I wouldn't type them up. I would write them down on little pieces of paper, and I would answer those questions for you as best that I could. First and foremost, this is an Alexa 35. I bought it in March of 2024. It is now currently January of 2025, and I have shot a lot with it. The very first question that I'm starting with is why Arri? In any other world, I have no business owning a camera like this or spending the kind of money that I did on this camera. It's very client specific. Like, essentially, my NFL assignments, they hire me, but they also rent my camera from me and my lenses. With those rentals, that is the sole reason why I would purchase a camera like this. Just on NFL assignments alone, this camera has been with me on 22 different shoots. Most of those shoots are one-day shoots, but I do have a few 2- and 3-day rental shoots sprinkled in with those. It's been a good year for this camera and myself, so I can't complain. Next question is, how heavy is the Alexa 35 compared to the Amira? I think the Amira is right around 9 pounds, and the Alexa 35 is just a hair over 6 pounds. So you're saving about 3 pounds of actual weight. But when it's actually on your shoulder, it's still a big, bulky camera, especially with the zoom lenses that I like to shoot with. If I had to compare them, just kind of a real-world situation, shooting football games, they're very similar. It still feels pretty heavy on your shoulder when you build it out the way that I do. The next question was around traveling with batteries. And so there's a couple battery options with this camera. Of course, natively, it comes with the B mount battery. B as in boy. A lot of my colleagues will switch to a gold mount 24 volt system. I like the B mount 24 volt system. I've had zero issues with it. But yes, I do travel with more batteries than I did with my Amira. Specifically, I travel with 9 batteries at all times. So the next question was about battery runtime. And while I don't have specifics on like time, I base it off of like football games. I run the B-bobs during my game. So my core SWX batteries are kind of my pre-game and post-game. And then when the game is about to start, I have this cool, the B90 Cine ML, which is the swap plate. So it's a 90 watt-hour battery, and you can add another battery on top. So during a game, this is what I run. I run a 90 plus a 155, and this gives me 2/4 of football action. So I don't have to change batteries until halftime, and then I don't have to change batteries again until the game is over for post-game assignments. I love this setup. It's a bit bulky with the 155 and the 90 and a little bit heavy, but the peace of mind knowing that I'm not going to have any power issues until halftime or till post-game is really good. I shoot a lot in California, which are like ideal weather conditions. And so, of course, when you get into colder football games, you might have to swap sooner than halftime. For the most part, this was my setup for the whole year. Another question is, it says all in, how much to build your kit? So let's go over the camera. This is what I paid for the camera body. The operator set, base plate, tripod plate, and handle is this much money. And the PL mount with Hiroshi connector is this much money. And the Sonosax AEM1 is this much money. I have one 1TB card. It's called a Codex card. I have a Codex reader, not the expensive one, the more inexpensive one, which was still about this much money. And don't forget the batteries. I have not added up how much I've spent on batteries, but it's somewhere close to this much money. And so when you add all that up, you're well over 6 figures, I'm assuming, even though I haven't done the math in my head. As I look at the 2024 breakdown of what I've made on the camera, we're pushing having paid off half of that. In that regard, in less than a year to essentially pay off almost half of the camera, I can't complain. How many gigabytes or terabytes do you typically shoot in a day or in a game? I did look up some of the numbers on the games that I shot recently. So one was a Fresno State UCLA game in Pasadena, again, shooting in 1080p on this camera. a full game, I'm at 299 gigabytes. For the University of Oregon, they had me shoot in 2K, slightly bigger than 1080p. That was 406 gigabytes for the whole Rose Bowl game. And when I shot for Boise State, was 375 gigabytes. So you're anywhere from 300 to 400 gigs as it sits currently right now. 1080p, 422HQ on the Alexa 35, well under half a terabyte. When will it take over the Alexa Mini market? ? Well, now what happens, a camera like this comes out, the Alexa Minis take a price drop, so now a lot more people are going to have access to Amiras and Alexa Minis for way less money. And so I don't think it's going away. I just think that the higher end productions will come over to the Alexa 35. I don't think the Alexa Mini market's going anywhere. You're going to be able to buy it for a lot cheaper now because of this camera coming out. Okay, this was the last question. The question is about texture. So any use for textures? I just kind of released a little silly texture test previously to this YouTube video. And no, currently there's no use for textures in my world. Mainly because the textures are baked into every shot. And when you tell a production company that, hey, we're going to run with a texture that the editor cannot take off, people get scared. And I think this will go away the more and more people dive into textures and create custom textures. But for now, when anybody hears the word baked in, it scares a lot of people, even me. That wraps up this video. Hopefully I answered some of the questions you had. If you have any more questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below or just DM me on Instagram or YouTube, and I will gladly answer back. I'm looking to create more YouTube content in 2025, so please let me know what you want to see. And with that, I'll be back next time. See ya.